Ethan, a tired single dad, was finishing his night shift when he heard faint whimpers from a dark alley. Pushing aside trash bags, he found two little twin girls, shivering, pale, and clinging to each other for warmth. "No one will hurt you," he whispered, wrapping them in his coat. But when one of them muttered, "Don't tell him, Daddy," Ethan's chest tightened. Someone was after them, and the truth would turn his world upside down. Bringing them home, he learned their names, Lila and Lucy. They wouldn't speak about their father, only shaking at the mention of a mysterious man. Then a strange visitor arrived, a man claiming to be a detective, asking questions about the girls. His eyes didn't lie. They were dangerous. As snow fell outside, Ethan dug through old belongings of his late wife, Clara, and discovered a photo of her with the twins' mother. Shockingly, he realized Clara had secretly helped hide them from the same man now hunting them. Victor Grayson, billionaire CEO, had a dark secret. His past mistakes had put the twins' lives in danger. And now, by fate, or perhaps a miracle, the girls were in the hands of someone who truly cared. By Christmas morning, after fear, secrets, and confessions, Ethan watched the children laugh together by a small Christmas tree. He held a letter from Clara, smudged with tears. "Family isn't just who you're born to, it's who you fight for." That night, a janitor-turned-father and 3 children discovered the true meaning of love, courage, and a Christmas miracle. Snowflakes drifted down in silence, coating the empty streets of a forgotten neighborhood. The flickering streetlight buzzed above piles of trash bags and broken boxes, remnants of a world too busy to care. Ethan, a tired single father in his late 30s, pushed his janitor's cart through the alley behind the grocery store. His hands were red from the cold, his breath turning white in the air. He was supposed to be home by now, celebrating Christmas Eve with his 6-year-old son, Liam. But extra hours meant extra pay, and after losing his wife 2 winters ago, he couldn't afford to miss a shift. Just as he was about to throw another bag into the dumpster, he heard it. A soft sound. It wasn't the squeak of a rat or the rustle of garbage. It was a whimper. Ethan froze. He turned toward the noise, heart pounding. Carefully, he moved aside a few torn cardboard boxes, then gasped. 2 little girls, no older than 5, were huddled together inside a pile of discarded blankets and trash bags. Their faces were pale, their lips trembling from the cold. One of them stirred, blinking up at him with frightened blue eyes. Hey, it's okay," Ethan whispered, kneeling down. "What are you doing out here, sweethearts?" Neither spoke. The smaller twin clutched a broken doll, the other pulled her closer protectively. That simple gesture made Ethan's heart ache. He pulled off his coat and wrapped it around them both. "You're safe now," he said softly. "I'm gonna get you somewhere warm." But as he reached for his phone to call for help, one of the girls whispered something that made him freeze. "Don't tell him where we are. Please." Ethan frowned. "Who?" The girl's voice cracked. "Daddy." And just like that, the night went colder. Ethan's fingers tightened on his phone. "Don't tell him where we are. Daddy." The words echoed in his mind like an alarm. He looked down at the 2 fragile girls trembling under his coat, their faces streaked with dirt and tears. "All right," he said quietly, crouching closer. "No one's gonna hurt you. I promise." He didn't press them for answers. Instead, he gently lifted them, one in each arm. They were so light it made his chest tighten. He carried them to his old, beat-up van parked behind the store, turning the heater to full blast. The girls sat close together in the back seat, silent and wide-eyed, watching him like scared kittens. Ethan tried to smile. "I'm Ethan," he said, voice soft. "And that's my son Liam, back at home. You 2 got names?" The older one hesitated before whispering, "Lila." The smaller one whispered, "Lucy." "Lila and Lucy," Ethan repeated, glancing at them in the mirror. "Pretty names." They didn't smile. Something deep in their eyes told him they'd seen far too much for their age. When they arrived home, a small, drafty apartment on the edge of town, Liam ran to the door, wearing his mismatched Christmas pajamas. "Dad." "You made it," he cheered, then froze when he saw the two shivering girls behind him. Are they Santa's helpers? He asked innocently. Ethan chuckled softly. Something like that, buddy. Let's get them warm first. He laid out blankets by the heater, warmed some soup, and handed each girl a mug with trembling hands. Lila watched him with quiet suspicion, while Lucy sipped slowly, her little fingers wrapped around the cup. When Liam proudly showed them his small Christmas tree, a few bent branches decorated with paper stars, the girls' expressions softened just a little. For the first time, Ethan saw a hint of a smile on Lucy's face. But when he asked gently, "Do you want me to call someone for you? Maybe your family?" Lila's face went white. She shook her head violently. "Please," she whispered, tears welling up. "Don't call anyone, especially him." Ethan's stomach sank. Something was terribly wrong. He didn't know who him was, but one thing was certain. Whoever these girls were running from, they weren't safe yet. And before the night was over, he was about to find out just how dangerous the truth really was. The next morning, sunlight filtered weakly through the thin curtains, painting golden lines across the old wooden floor. The smell of pancakes filled the tiny apartment. Ethan was cooking breakfast while Liam chattered excitedly, showing the twins his toy cars. Lila and Lucy sat quietly at the kitchen table, dressed in Liam's extra clothes. They looked a little cleaner, a little warmer, but their eyes still carried that haunted, sleepless look. Ethan flipped a pancake, trying to act casual. "You girls sleep okay?" Lucy nodded shyly. Lila didn't answer. Ethan smiled faintly, but his mind raced. Who were they hiding from? Where were their parents? When he tucked them in last night, he noticed bruises on Lila's arm, shaped like fingers. Someone had grabbed her hard. He hadn't slept much after that. A knock shattered the quiet. 3 sharp raps on the door. Ethan froze. The girls immediately clung to each other, eyes wide with panic. "It's him," Lila whispered, trembling. "He found us." Ethan's pulse spiked. He signaled them to stay quiet and motioned for Liam to take them to the bedroom. Then, cautiously, he opened the door just a crack. A man stood in the hallway, a tall, clean-shaven figure in a black coat. His expression was calm, but his eyes cold. "Good morning," the man said smoothly. "I'm looking for 2 little girls, Lila and Lucy. They've been missing since last night." Ethan's throat went dry. "Who are you?" The man pulled out a gold badge. "Detective Howard. The girls' father reported them missing.
He's a very wealthy man."
"You may have heard of him, Victor Grayson." Ethan's grip on the door tightened. Victor Grayson. The name rang a faint bell. He owned the luxury towers Ethan sometimes cleaned on night shifts. "They're in danger," the detective said, watching Ethan carefully. "Please, if you know anything." Before Ethan could answer, Lucy's tiny voice carried from the bedroom. "Lila, I'm scared." The man's expression changed, just for a second. His polite mask cracked, revealing something darker beneath. "Thank you for your time," he said abruptly, turning on his heel. "We'll be in touch." Ethan shut the door, heart hammering. The man's footsteps faded down the hall, but deep down, Ethan knew this wasn't over. That night, after putting the children to bed, he sat by the window, staring at the city lights. His thoughts wouldn't stop. Why would 2 little girls rather sleep in the trash than go home to their father? And why did the name Grayson stir a strange memory in him? One connected to his late wife. He didn't know it yet, but the truth would soon shatter everything he thought he knew about his own family and his past. That night, the snow fell harder, blanketing the city in silence. Ethan sat on the couch, staring at an old photo of his late wife, Clara, her gentle smile forever frozen in time. The twins were asleep in the next room, curled up beside Liam. He couldn't shake the feeling that fate had led those girls to him. Something meant for him to find them. Unable to sleep, Ethan went to his closet and opened an old box of Clara's things, letters, photos, her nursing ID badge from St. Mary's Hospital. He picked up one photo of her with a newborn in her arms, tears forming in his eyes. But then his hand froze. Behind Clara in the photo stood another woman, a young, blonde nurse, wearing a necklace shaped like a crescent moon. Ethan frowned. He'd seen that necklace before. Lila was wearing it. He quickly checked his phone. He hadn't recognized the man at first, but the name Victor Grayson pulled up dozens of headlines. Victor Grayson, billionaire pharma CEO, under investigation for medical ethics violations. Wife dies under mysterious circumstances. Ethan's breath caught. Clara had worked at the same hospital where Victor's wife, Elena Grayson, had supposedly died 5 years ago. The same time Clara suddenly quit her job and stopped talking about her work entirely. A cold realization struck him. What if the twins weren't just lost? What if they were running from the same man connected to his wife's past? A faint noise snapped him out of thought, tiny footsteps in the hall. He turned to see Lila standing there, eyes glistening with fear. "Mr. Ethan," she whispered, clutching the necklace. "You knew my mommy, didn't you?" Ethan's blood ran cold. He nodded slowly. "Your mom, Elena?" Lila's lips trembled. "She told us, if anything ever happened to her, we should find the man named Ethan who used to help her. She said he was the only one we could trust." The room seemed to spin. Clara, his own wife, had known Elena Grayson, and before she died, she must have told the twins where to find him. Ethan knelt down, heartbreaking as he pulled Lila into a hug. "I don't know what happened, sweetheart," he said softly, "but I promise you, I'm not letting anyone hurt you ever again." Outside, headlights flashed across the window. Slow, deliberate. Someone was watching the apartment. Ethan's chest tightened. He turned off the lights and peeked through the curtain. A black car sat idling on the corner. And inside, he could see the same man from earlier, Detective Howard, talking on the phone, eyes fixed on Ethan's building. The truth was closing in. Ethan's heart pounded as he watched the black car outside. The man inside didn't move, just sat there watching, waiting. He turned back to Lila, her small face pale in the dim light. "Pack your things," he whispered. "We're leaving." Within minutes, he had bundled the children into his van, Liam half asleep against his shoulder. Snowflakes swirled under the headlights as they drove through the sleeping city, tires crunching softly against the ice. Ethan didn't know where he was going, only that he had to keep them safe. They ended up at an old church on the edge of town, one of the few places that still left its doors unlocked on Christmas Eve. Inside, the warmth from flickering candles filled the air with peace. Ethan guided the children to a pew, wrapped them in blankets, and sank beside them, exhausted. He bowed his head, whispering a prayer he hadn't said in years. "Clara, if you can hear me, show me what to do." Moments later, the heavy church doors creaked open. A figure entered, snow dusting his black coat. Victor Grayson. Ethan stood instantly, shielding the children behind him. Victor's eyes locked onto the twins, his face a storm of guilt and grief. "Lila, Lucy, stay back," Ethan warned. "You don't deserve to be near them." But Victor didn't move closer. He just sank to his knees right there on the aisle, tears streaming down his face. "I didn't hurt them," he said hoarsely. "I swear it." Lila's voice trembled. "You yelled at Mommy." Victor nodded, broken. "I did. I was angry, desperate. Your mother found out what my company was doing, selling unsafe medicine to children. She tried to stop it. I didn't listen. And because of that, she died trying to protect you." The truth hit Ethan like a punch. Clara must have found out too. She'd helped Elena hide the twins before the accident, and she'd kept the secret even from him. Victor wiped his tears. The detective, he wasn't real law enforcement. He works for someone who wants to silence anyone who knows, including the twins. Ethan felt the weight lift, then shift into resolve. "Then we end this. For Clara. For Elena." He called an old friend at the local news station, a man who owed him a favor. By dawn, footage of Victor Grayson's confession and the evidence Clara had hidden was in the hands of real authorities. The truth spread faster than the snow outside. By Christmas morning, the fake detective was under arrest. Victor had turned himself in to testify against his partners. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt peace. As the children sat by the church's small Christmas tree, unwrapping the few gifts he could find, Lila handed him something, A folded letter from her mother, smudged and worn.
It read,
"If you're reading this, Ethan, then you kept your promise. You told me once that miracles happen when broken people help each other.
"Take care of them."
Clara." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. He looked at the 3 children, his son and the twins, laughing together in the morning light. Outside, the bells began to ring, echoing across the snow-covered streets. That Christmas, Ethan realized something Clara had always believed. Family isn't just who you're born to, it's who you fight for. And as the sun rose over the quiet city, 3 children and 1 tired janitor began their new life together, proof that even on the coldest nights, love can find its